Hello everyone. Welcome to today's panel discussion on Analytics 2.0 AI-driven business research. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I am Dr. Harish Sudhir Kulkarni. From my left, Dr. Trupti, Dr. Upma Paliwal, Dr. Neha Nair, Dr. Priya Dwivedi, Professor Pranav Mishra, Professor Amit Pandey, Professor K. Pallavi ma'am, and Dr. Dilpreet Sahni ma'am. So friends, before discussing the topic, we all know organization today operates in the world where data is generated continuously through a digital platform, transactions, customer interaction, and online behavior of a consumer. The real challenge is no longer to collect the data from the market, but using that data into a meaningful insight quickly and intelligently. So, in today's discussion, we will explore how AI is reshaping the business research methodologies, decision making, and for the betterment of organizational strategy. Friends, earlier also we were having an Analytics 1.0, where we used to discuss a statistical test, that is ANOVA, analysis of variance, chi-square test, F test, Z test, T test, and etc. And we have practiced this also. So, what the Analytics 2.0 means. So, starting with this, I would like to ask Dr. Trupti madam, what the Analytics 2.0 means.
So as you said, sir, Analytics 1.0 has been there since a long time. And we know that in Analytics 1.0, we basically collected data and we used certain models in order to find out certain predictions from the data. But Analytics 2.0 is where we will see the advent of artificial intelligence in the field of business research. And what I see in the artificial intelligence in terms of business research is two, three things. The first thing is there are going to be some important models which earlier we used to not have in analytics. For example, use of natural language processing, or use of other things like expert systems. This is going to come in the field of artificial intelligence and business research. Secondly, the data is going to be very recent. It is going to be relevant as well as recent. So we are going to talk about real-time data. And this is going to bring about a very important feature in decision making, which is going to be very recent, and it is going to be a very timely decision that the manager will be able to take. So this is something which I feel is very important. Apart from that, another important characteristics of Analytics 2.0 as I see is that we are going to be using big data now. So big data is data which is high in volume, it is high in velocity, and it is high in variety. So this data is not going to be in terms of gigabytes, it is now going to be in terms of terabytes, yottabytes, zettabytes. So this is very huge data which usual models cannot process easily. So that is the need of artificial intelligence in business research. Secondly, the data is of very huge variety. Earlier we used to have structured data, which is the data in the form of Excel sheets. Now we are going to be working on data which is going to be of the type of audio, video files, or even social media comments, text comments. So these ways in which we are going to use artificial intelligence in business research in the coming times. So I think this is very important, and of course velocity of creation of the data is also very important. The data is coming very fast. We are collecting even terabytes of data in 1 hour. This is the speed of data being generated these days. So I think artificial intelligence in business research is going to be a very, very important new development. And we need to have a deliberation as we are having it today on this particular topic.
Oh, that's nice. That means decision making ability, real time data, quick decision making, larger data, using larger data into a meaningful way, big data, and model formulation are the key component as far as Analytics 2.0 is concerned. But here, I think one question arises: how much AI will be integrating with a human strength? Because ultimately, somewhere or somehow, by using artificial intelligence every human being is having their own IQ. So looking towards different person, different peoples, how they are going to interact with AI, how AI is going to help or how AI is going to interact with human being. Professor Pranav Mishra sir, can you please give your opinion on interaction of AI and human strength that may be their pros and cons?
Sir, I believe the relationship between AI and humans is more of a perfect partnership. AI is incredibly capable of handling massive data and provide the much needed speed to the research findings to take it to the next level of efficiency. By handling the repeated data, AI has given humans the time to do and concentrate on what they are good at: creativity, empathy, and ethical thinking. Sir, I don't believe that AI would take over us. Rather, this relationship is turning towards a brilliant collaboration where AI will assist, complement, and augment the human efforts. The organizations that realize this hand in hand relationship would be benefited through this, and the real magic will happen, sir, when the human intuition meets the AI's speed.
Oh, that's excellent.
Together we can build a splendid knowledge base which none of us alone can do so.
Okay, that means human intuition. That means somewhere or somehow the feelings of human being plays an important role. Yeah, that is very important. That's very nice. But earlier also we used to conduct a research in our before coming to analytics 2.0. We used to conduct research traditionally where we are defining the problem. By defining the problem, we are going through a literature review. Just after literature review, we are able to confine the research objectives. Then we are drawing the research variables. And with that variables and looking towards the research objectives, we are going to frame our research questions. Based on our research questions, we are preparing a questionnaire for collecting the data from the market. Once we are through with the reliability and analysis of reliability and validity of a questionnaire, then we are proceeding to collect the data from the market with the help of survey method. That survey may be in the form of primary data or that may be in the form of secondary data. Once we have confined looking towards the objective, looking towards the type of research, what type of data collection methodology is to be needed, the next step is to collect the data from the market, where we are proceeding towards the market with the help of gesture and posture of a respondent. We are able to confine not many information because gesture and posture plays an important role. So many of the time the respondent may get confused and just for the sake of giving an answer, many of the times they are going to have a tick on a particular option. So as a researcher, we are able to confine that confusion also of a respondent. So, and ultimately, everything boils down towards interpretation, conclusion, and suggestion. All these things we are doing earlier also. Now, just after coming to analytics 2.0, how a traditional research, what are the favorable changes which we are going to offer in traditional research? Professor K. Pallavi, madam, can you clarify on the same?
So, as you have told that research processes, you have told the complete process of the research, like we collect the variables, we identify the variables, we collect the data from it, we draw interpretations out of it. The research process has not changed. But if we talk retrospectively, the data samples which were used, they used to be small. The researchers were simple. The data samples which were used were small, and everything was done manually by the researchers. They used to physically go to the market, go to the respondents, and collect the responses from them. And after coming from there, they used to sit and physically and manually analyze the data collected. Now, what happened is while they used to interpret this data, there could also be human error bias in this data. Now, coming to this era of AI. If we come down to era of AI, AI has ease of the use of this research and research tools into research a bit long. Actually, we are dealing with more data nowadays because previously data was small, samples were small. But now, as Trupti ma'am also quoted, that we are generating voluminous data every minute. In fact, every second, fraction of seconds, enormous number of data is being processed.
Absolutely right.
So AI helps to process that data, analyze that data, and use the analytical tools to process and interpret that data. And also added to this, it gives interpretations and some potential solutions and conclusions which are drawn, which could be used by the managers. Now, manager, what he does is he uses his own intelligence as well as the conclusions which are drawn by AI and collaborate it together to give meaningful decisions. Now, we are moving on from a retrospective point of view standpoint to a prospective and progressive standpoint.
Oh, that's great.
Like we are moving from descriptive to predictive to prescriptive analytics. Previously, we used to only predict the trends and patterns. That is what called predictive analytics. But from descriptive, which was traditional, to predictive, to predict the trends and patterns, and now we are also prescribing. The AI is prescribing some possible solutions which could be used by the managers.
Oh, that's great. That means earlier we were having a small size of data. Now we are having an advantage as far as the huge data is we can take into sample into consideration. Now with this AI results will become a more better analysis and predict good quality of research. Friends, artificial intelligence is transforming the research to conduct and to enable faster analysis, deeper insights, and more predictive decision making. So, looking towards this, there are always a pros and cons. There are always a opportunity and challenges associated with that. So, what are the opportunities which are associated with the faster decision making and for better forecasting? Dr. Upma Paliwal, madam, can you please clarify on the same?
So opportunities are many. If we look at the from the organization's internal point of view and also the external point of view, there are opportunities lying in terms of operational efficiency can be increased. The big companies who are managing lots of inventory, and they can use softwares which will never let the company go out of stock of a particular thing ever. They will keep the track. They will place the order with the supplier beforehand. So operational efficiency can be improved. This is one opportunity with the organization. And if we see outside the organization, competitive intelligence, I would say the companies, especially airlines or many companies, are using dynamic pricing. They not only see the urgency of the customer, but also they see the supply side also, that how many tickets are available with the competitor, and suddenly they will send, suppose, a pop-up message of discount to the customer to take or prompt, take immediate decision. So there are many ways. Suppose a company wants to increase their expand their business in some rural area or some untapped area. So earlier they used to conduct a market research, and then they used to make a product, and then they used to launch, and there was a huge time gap in between. Now, instead of launching a product and then checking
that which product is, whether it is working or not, because there is a huge failure. Now, on the basis of real-time data availability, what are the trends going on recently? They can even predict what demand would come further. They can start developing the product beforehand, and by the time the demand generates, they can launch the product. So there are many opportunities. Plus, data platforms can be shared. Two data platforms, they can join hands. Like one company is making, suppose, mobile devices. Another one is providing some software app. So they can join hands that this app is free in this particular device. So there are many opportunities for the companies inside the company and outside as well. They can go a long way using business research
Okay,
through it.
that's right, madam. Because earlier we used to collect the data from the market. Just after collection of data, we came to an interpretation, conclusion, and suggestion. When we are giving this interpretation, conclusion, and suggestion to the corporate is going to work on that particular data. They are going to make their own strategy, and they are going to bounce back in the market in the form of modification in the product, or certain new product is coming in the market. All these things take a time span, and approximately 3 to 6 months time span is required for that. Meanwhile, the type of consumerism get changed, and there is a when they are going to launch that particular product in the market for a particular specific customer, specific type of customer, the type of consumer may get changed. So this type of problem, I hope, madam, this type of problem has been resolved with by coming analytics 2.0 is concerned. Well, madam, dynamic pricing, demand analysis, real-time data, and algorithm are the key aspects or the key outcomes from analytics 2.0.
Yes, sir.
And apart from that, there is a problem of stock out also earlier. So with the help of analytics 2.0, we'll be able to overcome from that problem also.
Yes, sir.
Now, if we are talking about the algorithm. We are talking about the algorithm, that means somewhere or somehow we are talking about the model formulation. How analytics or AI is impacting business models. What will be the future of analytics 2.0 driven innovation in business research? Dr. Dilpreet Sahni, madam, can you throw some light on it?
So you're talking about business models. So according to me, how businesses operate has been there's a large change. There's much change in how business operates due to AI and driven research in business models. So the businesses have shifted from a product-centric environment to a platform-based environment. Data has become a strategic asset for business. Personalization is one of the key elements that business is using for its delight for the consumers and the value proposition. At the same time, maintaining the cost structures to a lower level. So what I feel is the four pillars of the business model have gone a drastic change. Talking about value proposition, what I can say is now there is no one particular product which fits for all. It is personalization. So rather than a standard product, we have a as Pallavi madam has said, we moved from descriptive to prescriptive. So that is one trend we can see. And to substantiate this, I can say that there are various businesses which curate products as per the consumer's preferences. So there are LMS where they adapt to learning strategies of the learners, their mistakes they make. If I talk about the second quadrant, which is creation of value, now AI is just not a tool which helps to do it, supporting tool. Rather, it has become a key resource for product development and product innovation. Here, I would like to quote an example that various insurance apps now use AI to assess the vehicle damage by surpassing the manual surveys. So it is like instant underwriting rather than a long process. If I talk about delivery value, the channels have changed, and the customers' preferences have also undergone a change. So let's take for example, now 3D trial rooms have changed that experience, where consumer can, rather than going to the particular shop or a place, they can experience that, and the product gets delivered at the doorsteps.
Yeah.
If I talk about value proposition, if I talk about capturing of value, the monetization and cost structures have changed. There are innovative revenue models like pay on click, performance based, subscription based models, which have been integrated into the systems through AI, and optimization of inventory, demand forecasting, which have had major impact on supply chains. So, in a sense, what I can say is creation of value through insights, delivery of value through innovation and automation, capturing value through different models, and value propositions through customer delight and intelligent experiences.
That's great. That means automation, intelligent consumer experience, predictive resources, hyper personalization, and platform economy. And you have mentioned one important point, that is AI in supply chain. Because in the earlier days, when we were in the market, at that time we are seen we are going to deal with different dealers, consumers, customers, retailers, and with carrying and forwarding agent. Everybody is unaware. The major stakeholders are unaware that how much stock they are having. We used to take that stock manually, and might be possible that one particular carton or one particular box is lagging behind. And after 2 or 3 months, we came to know that if some stock is also there. So this type of problem can be eradicated, or this type of problem can be taken care as far as analytics 2.0 is concerned. Well, apart from this, there are certain new applications also. New applications in terms of business research methods. Dr. Priya Dwivedi, madam, can you please simplify the same?
So we are living in entering into an era of analytics 2.0, and we are talking about the business research, its application that is basically AI driven. So we all actually agreeing on that point. Yes, the earlier process of that research methods were very time consuming, as well as the results were delayed. But nowadays, with the help of that AI, the business conducting the research, entire research with the help of AI, they are having that large volume of data. They are processing that entire data into a more insightful results that are very quicker these days. That is very required for decision making, fast decision making.
Right.
So if we just find the application part of AI, we would be hearing these days the consumer sentiment analysis, predictive customer behavior, market surveys, finding trends, forecasting. Everywhere we are finding that AI applications. So of course, if I would take one good example from very well-known e-commerce company. So AI recommended region-wise pattern with respect to their sales, their inventory management, and many other aspects of management functioning. It found under this research with the help of AI, where it found the purchase history, the browsing pattern, the customer behavior. It analyzed a large volume of data and given insight like, yes, there would be kind of some regional strategy for sales. So tier 2 cities and tier 3 cities showed that there is a huge demand for affordable products. But there is a huge demand for premium products, fashion products for that in case of we talk about metro cities. So the result that actually helped in business decision making towards the wiser inventory management, city-wise, region-wise, and towards planning the sales strategy in a form of big billion days sales. In continuation with that, I would like to take one good example with respect to food industry. One good company analyzed consumer food behavior. and AI found hidden food consumption behavior. So, after analyzing millions of data of that daily food orders, the results were, uh, in Indian context, biryani is the most ordered item.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, sir.
We all,
And
I
the
think we
next-
all like biryani. Yes.
And the next part that is actually very interesting again, the orders get increased after 10 p.m.
Oh.
So what should the company do with respect to that decision making? It includes that business decision making under the business decision making process that yes, there should be late night delivery options, there should be delivery logistic. It introduced region wise cuisine categories. So this way we are, by these two examples, we demonstrated that yes, AI is giving good insights and a good way forward for the better and wiser decision making.
So that's very excellent, madam. You have mentioned about the regional pattern that plays a very important role, and that is very helpful as far as the corporate is concerned. Just to target right customer at the right time, region wise, that plays an important role. Because in India, we know that in every 15 kilometers, we are having a different water, taste of water, different food habits, different peoples. Every people is having a different types of speaking language and food habits also. Due to this, the nature or the thinking process may get changed from people to people, from region to region. So AI is going to help a region. AI is going to study the region pattern. That's an excellent one. So apart from that, consumer sentiment analysis, consumer psychology, and competitive analysis are the other important aspects or important component as you mentioned in your discussion. So friends, customers' expectation, customers' aspiration, product purchase style of a new generation of Gen Z and the new children's. In frankly speaking, our children's, when we used to purchase something, our children's are going on the mobile, they are going to search it out in our home only, and just after searching that, they are giving an option. What are the different options which are available with respect to price, with respect to the quality of the product, with respect to the competitors, which product is better, and whether we have to purchase online or offline. All these facilities now are available at our doorstep. Uh, by these facilities, by availing these facilities, still AI, by using AI, we were having certain sort of challenges. Uh, Dr. Neha Nair, madam, can you please illustrate the different challenges associated with analytics
Thank you so
2.0?
much, sir. I think there are three major challenges in AI-driven based research. The first and most important is data privacy, because nowadays the organizations are collecting very personal data and information from the users, uh, which helps them to understand the consumer behavior and market strategies to improve their efficiency, their services. But these data information, the personal details of the users, should be evaluated or analyzed with great concern. We all heard about a scandal where the company accessed and used the personal detail, the very personal data of the consumers without their consent, and use them for the advertising, political advertising. So I think data privacy will always be a very great concern
Right.
when we are in the world of AI and AI based researches. The second important challenge we must consider, that is algorithm biasness. As we know, AI or automated system always work on the trained data, or they learn from the historical database. If the database is biased or historical data on which they are going to study, that is, if itself it is biased or unfair, incomplete, automatically the results came, or automatically the result come from the data analysis will be unfair and illogical, and definitely it will be biased. We can understand, like, with this. A data hiring tool developed by a digital platform company, where they developed a recruitment tool for employees. But in that particular tool, the data which is already in their system, in their training, that is biased against female candidates and dominated by the male candidates.
Okay.
So the results will come, जो आया, the result came from the research that is completely biased for the women, and that is the major challenge for algorithm. The next challenge which I really feel, that is data quality, because the data which is going to be analyzed, that should be complete, that should be adequate, that should be fair, and that should be logical. Only on the basis of these qualities we can get data efficiency in the decision making. So I think data quality is last but not the least challenge in my point of view.
Oh, that's great. That means confidentiality of the data, biasness, accuracy, reliability of the data, that is data privacy, algorithm based business, and quality of data plays an important role. Apart from these challenges, there are certain skill sets which are to be required for better implementation of analytics 2.0 AI driven business research, because we are in the competitive era, where, as we have already discussed, where data is changing very frequently. The type of consumerism is getting changed day by day. New generation is having a different expectation, different aspirations. So looking towards the liking and dislikings of a consumer or a customer, an organization or a professional has to be more skilled, has to be more expert. So, Professor Amit Pandey, can you please interpret what type of skills are to be required for a business manager in the coming era?
Sure, sir. Skills for the future managers. As we know that the rapid adoption of AI is transforming the business operation. So the managers are required to adopt new technology, new skill set beyond the traditional leadership. In my opinion, the first and the most important skill is the data literacy. Data is not just a number. So a manager must analyze, collect, organize, and interpret the data. Data is the backbone of the economy. Every department,
Right.
from marketing, finance to HR and operation, speaks the language of the data. So the modern business run on the data. So as a present scenario, we can say that the manager should have to understand the language of the data. So the data literacy is the most important skill. Right. Second one is the basic AI familiarity. As we know that there are two parts. First one is the technical part and second one is the application part. So as a manager must has to understand the application part of the AI tools. They don't need to go to the algorithm and to making how the particular software is running on the what algorithm and tools, but they have to know about the basic understanding of the application. Next one is the, I think, critical understanding or critical thinking. Software or tools, they can provide you the data, but how you evaluate that data and how you interpret that data and how you can find the meaningful insight from that data, it is very important. So the human intervention is very important apart from the AI, as Pranav sir said that. So critical thinking is the most important skill that he or she should have to analyze the data. What kind of right thing we have to select from that data. And next, in today's world, we can say that the ethical awareness is very important. Today's world, the data is the most precious thing. It is more valuable than the money. So the person or the manager who managing the data should have to ensure about the ethical concern of the data. At last, I want to say about the domain expertise. So, in the domain expertise, every department has to understand their domain and understand the technicalities of that particular domain. So, I would like to say that the future managers combine the analytical thinking, technological awareness, and ethical awareness.
Well, Amit sir, from your interpretation, I feel that the role of a business manager in the coming era is become more crucial because he or she must have a data literacy, application part, that is software part, they must have a knowledge, and deriving a meaningful pattern and meaningful recommendation are the key component, are the key important aspect which a manager must have. So looking towards that, lot many people are get involved in analytics 2.0, AI driven business research. Lot many people, I mean the stakeholders. The stakeholders may have a dealer, may have a distributor, may have a carrying and forwarding agent, may have a businessman, or even you and me as a consumer. We are all our stakeholders. So in the coming era, looking towards this change, what is the role of a different stakeholders in AI driven business research? Professor K. Pallavi madam, can you please explain the same?
Sir, as you have told that we have many stakeholders, we have customers, we have consumers, buyers, but I would like to highlight a few key stakeholders which are important with respect to AI-driven research. Firstly, we have executives of a company, the C-suite, the CEOs, the CFOs, and CMOs. Their role is to set strategy for the company, for the organization. Apart, they approve funding for training and for enabling AI tools and resources. Next comes the data teams and data scientists, which are there in any organization or businesses. Their role is to build AI-based sophisticated models which could be used for the businesses, and it should be personalized for that particular their own business. Next comes the IT and infrastructure teams. Their role is to ensure that the data quality is well, and they have to support and work in synchronization with the data teams and scientists. The lastly, but not the least, the developers and the analysts, their role is to develop such AI tools and AI-based applications which are to be tailor-made as per their stakeholders and their client requirements. Now, all these things, it is a high-end costing business. So the businesses which could afford all these facilities are doing it well, and the businesses which could not, they just can't afford these. So this creates a big skill and cost gap within the industry. Now here comes the role of AI. AI is widening this gap and reducing these inequalities by enabling lowering these barriers with giving cost-effective solutions for these all these key stakeholders which we have. They help give decisions for the strategy makers for the company. They also gives predictive models for the building for the data scientists. They also help developers and analysts to give some prescriptive models which could be used for the clients. So AI is widening this gap and reducing inequalities within the industry.
Oh, that's great. That means CMOs, CFOs has to be taken care as far as the compliance risk are concerned. Data teams, security, cost effectiveness solution, and one of the most important point which you have mentioned, madam, that is AI based sophisticated model plays an important role. That's an absolutely right. As far as the stakeholders is concerned, apart from stakeholders, for implementing better implementation of analytics 2.0, AI driven business research, we are requiring a huge infrastructural resources also. So looking towards the infrastructural resources, because every organization has to follow that, every business house has to follow that. And for a better implementation of infrastructure, a huge money is required, huge concentration is required. Importance, just to feel an importance of that is that type of feeling is important. So looking towards the infrastructural resources, if all the facilities and all the infrastructure resources are available for for the better implementation of Analytics 2.0, then better results can be expected. So looking towards that, Dr. Priya Dwivedi madam, can you please describe what type of infrastructure resources are to be required for the better implementation of Analytics 2.0?
Yes, sir, this is a great point to discuss. Right kind of infrastructure is much required for AI-enabled business research for these days. So I would say there are four-layer infrastructural system that actually is a ecosystem of the entire business research. So that way we'll be finding at the first layer there will be the data infrastructure. The data we are talking about, it is just a resource. Resource means this is the entire behavioral pattern, entire whatever we got in a form of research history, browsing patterns. We fetch that information in a form of data. So this is the first layer. I would say the second layer that is composed of that computing infrastructure. We have heard about servers. We have heard about that platforms, cloud platforms. This kind of things are components of second layer of infrastructure in a form of that computing infrastructure. Then there comes a role of analysis. So analysis is a part of third layer, which mainly includes all the analytical parts, all the analysis methods, statistical methods, applying on that data to find the right kind of results, right kind of insights from that huge and voluminous data. So all the kind of that LLM techniques or any kind of recently introduced AI-enabled techniques are from the third layer of infrastructure that require. Now the fourth one that is more important, this is organizational infrastructure. For that right kind of decision making with the help of that business research, there is an expert that require who is able to analyze all the kind of things in a right manner. So team of experts, organizational support. I want to quote few examples of the company examples. They have dedicated teams. They are involved 24/7 in that business research. So organizational component forms that fourth layer of infrastructure. So I would feel that yes, for that right kind of business decision making, the AI-enabled business research, we require the right blend of all these components.
Yes, Dr. Priya, I do agree with you that different layers which you have mentioned, the four different layers that are for making an infrastructure more resourceful and more useful, that plays an important role. Apart from that, computing, analysis tool and organizational willingness to implement better infrastructure plays an important role. Apart from that, day by day we are going in the competitive era. Every customer and every consumer are well aware about the product before the product is coming into the market, because lot many advertisement, lot many informations are to be spread with the help of social media. Bloggers are going to do their own role. So many of the people are get aware earlier before coming to the product. So customization, every people are having their own aspiration. To satisfy that aspiration, and when the product is coming into the market, before coming to the market, every person is having a different expectation from the product. So due to difference in expectation of the consumer, every customer is having a different expectation. That means hyper personalization of the customer experience with AI driven business research. That means customization. So, Dr. Upma Paliwal madam, can you please clarify about the hyper personalization of a consumer with the help of AI?
Yes, sir. Earlier also, long ago, the concept started named tailor-made products or customization. But with the advent of AI in business research, it has become real time. Like that day, I was just going through one website in which there was some platform or model based on AI which asked the questions to me, and the upcoming questions were based on my previous answers. So the survey was getting conducted in real time, and on the basis of that, model suggested identified some of the problems and suggested some remedies for skin betterment or hair betterment. So this is everything is getting done in real time and by machines only. So it is becoming customized up to that level that in real time the customization solutions are provided with and by machines. Another, like I have observed in shopping apps, a different homepage is shown to different customers based on their previous preferences, their previous customer footprints, what they bought, what they left. So everything is AI driven nowadays. And like in music listening apps, they even go up to the extent that they try to know the mood of the listener.
Oh, that's very
And
nice.
according to the mood, they are nowadays suggesting the playlist. They are making playlist and making it available according to your mood. And another example, the AI content. They also observe what we have watched fully, what we have left in between, and then accordingly, not only they recommend the content, but also the new content which is made. It is based on what customers are liking. So everywhere AI-driven business research is coming in the picture, and it is moving towards entirely customization in each and every sphere. So it has come a long way, sir.
Oh, that's great. That means customization in the real time, customer mood management. That is an important aspect, madam, which you have mentioned. Every customer, every consumer is having a different mood swings. Whenever we all, whenever we people are entering into a mall, we are having a different aspiration and expectation from that particular mall. And if we are able to satisfy, or that mall is able to satisfy, that product is able to satisfy our aspiration or our expectation, accordingly our mood is going to swing. So mood management plays an important role. Digital footprint, which you have mentioned, and OTT platforms, that plays an important role. So AI is now become more challenging, more demanding, and day by day we people are having more and more expectations from AI. Looking towards the concept of AI, certain new terminologies or certain new concepts like generative AI, agentic AI, and LLM uh, is also there in the market. Professor Amit Pandey, sir, can you please clear up? Can you please explain the application of these concepts in business research?
Sure, sir. Generative AI, AI agent, and agentic AI. So these terms are very technical, but in today's business world scenario, these are the hotcakes. Without these terms or technology, you cannot survive in the competitive market. So when we are talking about the application part of these technical terms, generative AI, AI agent, and agentic AI are transforming the business research and decision making. When I talk about the generative AI, so it is basically to create the insight, literature review, report writing, and collect the information. So it is a lower part, so we can say that. When we go to the upper part, that is AI agent, so it is the next level, and it is designed for basically for the purpose of a specific task. So it collect the data automatically, analyze the data, analyze the market trend, and form a report. So AI agent is designed for the particular specific task. But when we go beyond that, AI agentic, it is an advanced version. It combines generative AI agent, it create, it analyze, and it also recommend. So in the agentic AI, there is a less human intervention. It will suggest you and it will give you a suggestion more than the AI agent and generative AI. Sorry.
Well, as far as these technical terminologies which are right now buzz in the market, apart from that, we were having certain ethical issues related with AI, Analytics 2.0, AI-driven business research. What are the ethical concerns or ethical regulations which are to be followed? Dr. Neha Nair, madam, can you throw light on it?
Sure, sir. If we want great analytics or powerful analytics, it requires great regulation and ethics for the system. Government and regulatory bodies creating many rules and regulation, many policies to protect consumer data privacy and technology. So, in this part, the India introduced Digital Personal Data Privacy Act 2023. The focus of the policy, the focus of the act is protect the consumer privacy, security, and innovate the market in the AI-based system. The second concern and ethical issue is over reliance on automation. There are many banks which are approving loans and rejecting loans on the automation based, or they developed AI tools to reject or approve the loan, but without explanation. But when is manually reviewed by the people, they found that there are many rejections are not completely authentic, and they are rejected like any not based on any specific reason. The third point is lack of transparency. In the modern era where AI model functions as black box, where we can understand, we can analyze the after results, or we can say decisions and results, but we don't know the process, the data which is analyzed, we don't know how, with the help of which process we attempt that results. So it contained very much confusion, lack of trust in the consumers, because they don't know about the process to getting the results. They can understand result, they can evaluate result, they can inference their interpretations, but without knowing the process, the behavior science behind the human mind. So that is the lack of transparency, which create very important ethical issue in the AI-based research. This is all from my
Well,
side.
madam, the points which you have mentioned is well taken. That's an excellent point. Well, madam, looking towards the ethical issues, we are coming to the next. That is, what are the steps which are taken in the organization for the better adoption of AI awareness? Professor Pranav Mishra, sir, can you please simplify the same?
Uh, Thank you, sir. Well, sir, businesses use AI primarily for two purposes. One is for their own operations, and secondly is the market research. And apart from this, also out of these two, the market research is the aggressive domain. AI adoption is one aspect, but for better results, the businesses must adopt, and they should use the focus on the interpretation part or implementation part. There has to be the focus on many things. Firstly, they should come and implement the universal literacy programs where they can transform the AI users into AI learners. This is basically the crash course or a foundational course for the users to increase the engagement or the involvement. The businesses should also include some internal hubs where the employees can move above the theory and then they can come up with AI solutions for themselves. Apart from this, I must suggest that the businesses should regularly and constantly participate and organize the corporate mm, the hackathons, corporate AI-based hackathons, with an aim and objective of promoting their employees or making them aware of the data privacy issues, and so that their employees can use the data wisely. In addition to this, the organizations must encourage their employees to take the AI responsibility pledge. This would imbibe ethicality into their dealings. One thing is also there to foster all these efforts. I should suggest that businesses must come up with detailed, documented SOPs and manuals for the AI implementation and AI adoption and AI integration at different stages of the businesses. Uh, Finally, I would also suggest that if certain businesses can develop the mobile classrooms on wheels, where they can travel to their distant and remote branches to train their employees there, so as to ensure that even the distant team is AI trained on various concepts and they are ready to perform their duties efficiently. All these efforts would lead to businesses generating managers who are pro in market research, and they can go give good results for their businesses in terms of revenues and less costs.
Oh, that's great. That means the point which you have highlighted, that is literacy program, AI solution, employment engagement, SOP documents, and the organization must establish their internal hubs just to educate, just to aware the employees and other stakeholders about Analytics 2.0 AI-driven business research. Uh, by discussing all these things, we come to a conclusion that the future of AI will be very bright. It's a demanding, it's a highly demanding, and it is required by the corporate world. So, looking towards this, Dr. Dilpreet Sahni, madam, can you please illustrate the future of AI-driven business research?
Since we are talking about AI driven business research analytics 2.0, I look at from the lens of 5 M's, which is men, money, machine, material, and methods. So if we look from point of view or the perspective of men, that is human capital or human being, the future of AI would be collaboration of human with AI. So generative AI would actually take up a front seat where both will work together in synchronization to give good results for research in business. If I look from the perspective of machine, that is method, that is tools, then generative AI, agentic AI, as rightly explained or said by Professor Amit Raj, where the data would be, insights would be analyzed or given by the agentic AI, and
the analysis or interpretation can be fostered by the human element. Secondly, we can say that automation of the decision-making process can be done, would be seen, where research outcomes would be automatically embedded into the decision-making systems and recommendations can be given. If I look from the perspective of methods, the future would look like integrating of research, AI-enabled research in strategic decision making and responsible AI, which would at all levels help the organization to, have credible research. If I look from the perspective of methods, if I look from the perspective of data, multimodal analysis would be the future where different forms of data can be analyzed simultaneously, be it text, voice, image, or behavioral patterns. And if we look from the point of view of money, which is the cost and monetization aspect, cloud-based systems, AI resource sharing would take up the front seat, and that data searched or generated by one organization can be shared by the others, especially as MSMEs which lack these resources. So broadly speaking, if I put all together, AI future, broadly speaking, the future of AI in business research would not only be faster results, but integrating smarter results through AI, human, and the data elements together for business strategic formulation.
Oh, that's very great, man. You have correlated 5 M's with the future of AI. That's an excellent one, and it's a practical one also. Well, in terms of future avenue of AI in business research, what can be done in terms of Indian context? That is important. So, Dr. Trupti, madam, can you please highlight in Indian context?
Yeah, so this is very important because India being such a diverse subcontinent, I think this is going to be a major challenge for India, how we can use AI in business research in a better way. So I think there are two main important facts that I see here which are important for our future in terms of using AI in business research. First is, as Madam suggested, Dilpreet Madam said about SMEs. So the first point that comes to my mind is that as far as SMEs are concerned, definitely they cannot afford in building up big infrastructures in order to use AI. So what they can do is to rely on open AI tools and as Madam suggested, cloud-based tools. So this is going to basically reduce their total cost of ownership. So that is one thing in terms of Indian subcontinent. The second important thing that comes to my mind is the distinction between what we call India and Bharat. So, as far as the Indian subcontinent is concerned, we are having customers from varied, religions, varied languages that people are speaking. As sir suggested earlier, within a few kilometers, the language, the dialect changes. So, capturing the customer's sentiments and the customer's feedback for doing research and understanding the pattern of behavior is going to be very crucial for Indian business researchers. So we need to work on this, and definitely in the future what I foresee is that we might be having a person in rural Maharashtra talking to a chatbot in Marathi and getting a response in the local language. That is something which AI can bring about. So I feel in terms of the Indian perspective, AI in business research holds a lot of promises, and I think a lot of initiatives are being done in order to capture this. So that is what I would like to suggest from
So
my
that
side.
means we can conclude that the future of AI in India is very bright. In today's panel discussion, we have discussed about Analytics 2.0, evaluation of business research, role of AI in business research, opportunity, challenges, and ethical concerns for the organizations, skills for future research, AI versus human intelligence, human sentiments, customer mood management, and future of AI-driven business research. But still there are certain questions. Somewhere, somehow, are we sacrificing the truth just to get the research results more faster? Just to collect the data from the market, we are using a tool, we are using an AI, we are using an analytics 2.0, that is an advanced version. But by doing so, somewhere or somehow we want faster and faster results. In this entire exercise, in this entire process, we are somewhere or somehow, whether not sacrificing the truth, that means speed versus accuracy. Apart from that, the another question which comes into my mind, that is, will we stop a customer by asking the question? If AI is going to predict the behavior of a consumer, what about the sentiments which are frequently changing, which we discussed in our panel discussion, that due to mood swings, from where we are going to collect such type of sentiments? That means somewhere or somehow we are doing the depth of the survey. The third question which comes into my mind, that if every company is going to use AI, how AI is going to predict, or how AI is going to give you an insight to each and every competitor on the same data? Somewhere or somehow we are losing a competitive edge. If every organizations are depending on AI, nobody will be able to do a new and newer thing. And ultimately that is a loss for an economy also. Because every organizations are doing certain new things, somewhere or somehow they are contributing towards an economy. So these are the three questions which comes to my mind. So at the last, it is clear that information is the fuel for 21st century. And analytics and AI are the engines for business research. Dear friends, I thank all panel members for this fruitful discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
sir.